What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Woman Be Healed podcast. The podcast all about acknowledging the opportunity to heal, harnessing the power of forgiveness by leaning on God and community. I'm your host, Rashonda Powell. What's up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of the Woman Be Healed podcast. So, I intentionally had a whole nother episode that was supposed to be coming out today, but I got laid somewhere else. So here we go. I was dropping my daughter off at school today, right? And, mom bashed me on your own time, child, but I have a tendency to check my daughter's homework mad late sometimes, like as in 30 minutes before she walks in the school doors. But this week my babes is working on multiplication, her times tables, right? Y'all remember those in school? Those times table sheets we used to have, the ones that's still in the back of the composition notebooks, the ones that we got all the tricks for, use your nines. When you're doing nines, use your fingers. The 2s, 5s, and 10s and 11s are the easiest. 8, 7s, and 6s, good luck, my girl. But my daughter is having some confidence issues with her times tables. They just started something new. My girl also loves to be right, like right all the time. She likes to get things right on the first try. She has to master it. She's stubborn. More so like her daddy, but also a perfectionist like me. And her pops put together is just like, oh my God. But the thing with kids and adults alike, when we are knee deep in a problem, we don't like to trust the process. We lack patience and we lack the desire to understand because we just want the end goal of, acquiring knowledge or whatever the end goal may be. I'm going to let y'all in on on her, kind of just a whole package. She is stubborn as a mule, and I don't know what it is about kids and parents, but they do not care that we're trying to help them. Like, them attitudes pop off like 2-week-old press-on nails. I mean, I don't care how loving your voice sounds. As soon as you try to help them, it's like they go directly into attitude mode. So we in the car, I asked for her homework and stuff like that. She's like, yeah, I did it. So I'm like, all right, cool, let me see. So after, I kind of start looking through her paper, I see like a few things wrong or whatever. So I say, you got a pencil with an eraser. When I say immediately, her shoulders dropped harder than a stripper seeing a ball player walk in the club. I mean, instant pissed. And she was pissed, and I didn't even say nothing yet. That's all do you got a pencil? You want an eraser? Nice tone, nothing to it, kind of thing. And I've learned not to let it get to me too much anymore when she does that. So I kind of, ignored it right off. And mind you, she had let she had let me know like over the weekend that she was, having trouble with her multiplication, and I tried to give her a tip over the weekend. So, kind of I told her to start from the easiest one, and work your way down or work your way up from there. So if 5s are your easiest, so say you have like 7 times 7, start with 7 times 5. What's that? She says 35. Okay, bet. So 7 times 6. So we're going to work our way up, right? So we count up 7 more than 35. That's 42. So 7 times 7, that's 7 more than 42. That's 49. She was even quiet when I gave her that advice. So I didn't pry because, baby, I just wanted, the mood for the weekend to stay the weekend mood. I ain't want no smoke. I ain't want nothing, okay? But today, I just needed her to see that it's okay and we need to discuss it, because we just had parent-teacher conference and we got to get this tackled and handled. So after I asked her if she had a pencil and she said no, I'm like, okay, Pooh, you're supposed to keep pencils everywhere, my girl, but okay, do you at least have a pen? while making myself a mental note to put some pencils in the car and stick some more in her backpack, things like that. So she she snatches out her pen, giving all the attitude while I'm still giving, all right, baby, let's go. Multiplication, let's get this. She just not matching my energy at all. So the problem was 4 times 4, and she put 36. And she started explaining how she got it. And I'm like, okay, bet. So I started with the easiest one. What's 4 times 3? And she says 12. So I was like, okay, what's 4 more than 12? And she's quiet at this point because she's pissed that she got it wrong. So I started counting on my fingers until I reached like 16, right? And I hear her sniffing in the back. So I'm like deflating in it at this point and trying not to show it on my face or in my tone because I absolutely hate when she gets like that. So I say, what's wrong? You know, um, you'll get it. It's okay. And she says, I'm failing and I hate failing. But my heart dropped because that feeling it was so familiar. It's so familiar. And I said, Pooh, you're not failing. You're learning. You will not learn unless you fail. You will not learn unless you ask questions and figure out what you don't understand. And that's okay. That's not failing. That's wisdom. That's learning. And I had to give, the mom pep talk because who ain't, you know? And I continue because my girl is one of the smartest 9-year olds that I have ever met. And I'm going to let her know every time, okay? I gave her a tissue and I told her, wipe your face and walk in that school because you're going to get it. And what I love about having kids is not that I teach them, they teach me. And I know that sounds so cliche because, we hear that all the time, like they teach me, but that's so real. That's so real. They teach me, they bring out the wisdom in me and they show me things that I have in me that I, feel like I don't even use myself. They teach me and I love learning. Um, but this was so good. This was such a beautiful interaction because I'm a person that hated failing too, coming up. And even now sometimes, I'm a person that if I fall, I don't like being down too long. I'm very type A. I'm results driven. I'm used to catching on to things like really quick when I'm interested in it or when it benefits me and my family. But I also have a huge learning curve when I'm discouraged or when I lack confidence or when I'm constantly comparing myself to others and where I think I should be because of my thoughts of, I can't do this or this is too hard supersedes my knowledge of who I am and how I learn. And what I got from this interaction is because this is so real, not just in children, but overall. Because why do we feel like we are failures just because we get things wrong when failing is such a crucial process to learning? And I wanted to talk about this today. Even though I had something else lined up, I wanted to dive into this. And I've made the title of this episode, You're Not Failing, You're Learning. Y'all, life is life and it's hard, okay? We all experience a variety of different things. And I always say there's no need to go on a comparison spree because there is always somebody that has a worse story than you. And you may feel like your story is horrible and the worst of all the worst. But, bro, I'm telling you, I believe you. But I'm also telling you, there's someone that has or had it worse than you. And that's crazy because when I think about even my story, I could cry thinking about people that had it worse than me or that have it worse than me, growing up because it was hard for me. And anybody else going through worse than that or Y'all some soldiers, bruh, for real. But anywho, just like in school, you will not advance to the next grade if you do not learn. In life, you will not advance in life if you do not learn. And I know y'all have heard the saying fail forward. That's so true. I believe that wholeheartedly. And it hurts. Let me give y'all an example. So, when I was young, if y'all have been listening for a while, I've shared before that I looked for love in all the wrong places. I didn't see love in my household. I wasn't accustomed to being told, you're beautiful, you're smart, you are validated by God and don't need no man's validation to be the you that you are and you are great. I didn't hear that too much. I didn't hear that. I wasn't accustomed to that. I didn't know the in love. I wasn't accustomed to that. And I wanted someone to tell me that. I wanted to feel that. I wanted to feel that I was loved and liked. But the thing is, if I didn't know how that looked, then how did I know what to look for? Okay? I didn't know how that looked. So I went looking for it, and anything that resembled it, I clung to it. And then when I got played, I searched for it again, until I started learning. Look, my girl, you playing yourself at this point, okay? You're literally looking for something that does not exist in how you are receiving affection. This ain't it. And you've damaged yourself looking for it. Now stop. That's what I had to learn. And that took me years to learn that love don't look like this. Love don't look like that. Love don't look like little booty on the football field that called you his boo for 2 weeks, got what he want, and then left and ain't even ask you what your favorite color is or what's your favorite food or whatever we used to ask. Okay, love don't look like that. Love don't look like somebody using your talent for their benefit. Love don't look like that. Love don't look like somebody beating on you. Love don't look like somebody avoiding affection in public, but say you see Bobby Joe up on Facebook or MySpace 2 days later hooked up on Shay or whatever her name is or was. Love don't look like that. And these are totally examples, y'all. This ain't me. I'm just saying, okay? but but learning comes from getting it wrong, right? But doesn't that make me a failure? No, it doesn't. That just makes me optimistic at the time. And a lot of bit naive and a lot of bit ignorant, lacking knowledge, but not a failure. If any of y'all are wanting to run a business, starting a business, or even aspiring to open a business, but just have not done so yet, I know it seems so ideal to make 10,000 within the first 2 months because you are just, like that, and you've done your research and you have everything you need and da 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 da. You'll keep that mindset first of all because it's good to have, but also remember in business, we would be naive to stop learning. We would be naive to not expect a few errors and missteps within your first couple of months and maybe even years into running a business. You have to make mistakes to know, okay, this works better than this. This target market values this. I got this feedback that this doesn't work or that they don't like this, they like this over this. And does that make you a failure? Does that make you a failure that you got reviews that your product could use a little bit more color? No. It's an opportunity to take that feedback and what was given to you to learn and offer different colors for your product or change how you market or learn the importance of branding so that your customer base sees the color and product you have as, hey, yo, I got to get that. Or you'll learn that if it's only a certain percentage of people saying that this may be whatever, it's not worth changing the product at all because it would cost you more money to change than to accommodate 2% of your customer base based off a little aversion. You're not failing, you're learning. And I like to give a lot of a lot of examples before I really get into the practical of things, but I need y'all to understand that first, you are not alone and your feelings are not uncommon. And to please, please, please stop beating up on yourself because the devil does that enough for us. He be pounding some things into our heads, don't he? I mean, he will tell us some lies. He will drag down some confidence, baby. And he don't have to use nobody but you to do that. Don't let him use you against you. Don't let him use your learning opportunities to make you feel as if you have failed. I'm a trainer on my job, not like a physical trainer. I'm a trainer, a call center trainer. And one of the things I tell my new hires is please do not get down on yourself for information that you are just receiving. This is a lot. And how can you expect to know something fluently that you have just learned? The more you do it, the more you get the scenarios, the more you get the calls and start to educate and look into things, you'll start to know the different situations that the residents call in about. And this company language will become your second language. It's gonna come, but don't beat yourself up for something that you're just learning. I don't expect for you to get it this soon. God does not expect you to get anything first try. Because baby, this world would have been ended. Grace would not exist. Forgiveness would be null and void, and God would not be God. God is not the God of second chances, He is the God of many chances. And I know it seems so disheartening when it seems like you are going in circles. I know it is so disheartening when you've seen it before and you keep failing the test. You feel like you keep failing the test when other people are passing with flying colors and you keep getting the retest with different questions that look like the same question that you just had. Or maybe you even got the retest with the same questions, just scrambled up in a different order. And you're still getting a D on that thing. And everybody is getting up around you and going to their next class. I'm going to give you a few things to help you out, okay? To help you realize that you are not failing, you are learning. A few things to help you buckle down and focus on your learning to help you move to the next level. First tip I'm going to give you is use your study guide. And you already know what I'm going to say. Yes, your word is your study guide. If we do not use our study guide, how can we learn to recognize what will be on the test or what will be on any test, trial, or win? This is not cliche, honey. This is biblical. This is sound and this is real. Your Bible is your weapon. Your Bible is your answer key. The Bible tells you who you came from and what and who you are. The Bible grants you wisdom and gives you examples of every emotion and every situation that you may have ever felt and more. Nothing that you experience is new to God. And it's not boring. The Bible is not boring. I'm telling you, it gives tea. It gives tea. It will show you that what how they say it in Scotland, whores. It will show you the whores, the murderers, the conspirators, the foolish and the unwise, the conquerors, strategies of war, battles with health, sexual immoral, battles of depression, and all these things. Like it's all in there. And if you can't understand, like, regular old KJV, find you a good study Bible to help you out. Your study guide. Your word will sustain you and lead you in the right direction. It teaches you peace and reminds you when you need those good reminders that God is my refuge. And when I call, He answers. And all things are possible with God. And I am above and not beneath. Okay? I'm the head, not the tail. All these affirmations that we say, yo, that's the study guide. Use your study guide to build your wisdom. Use it to build your knowledge. Use it to build your confidence, not only in you, but first in God, because He got you. He's in you, and you are in Him. Okay? Number 2 is look for the familiar. That is that circle, right? You know, that circle that we feel like we're constantly going in, the test that we feel like we're always taking over and over and over again. If y'all have ever taken college algebra, and if y'all in it now, or if y'all are taking it back in the day, if if y'all were ever assigned those practice homework modules, yeah, I hated these with an absolute passion. Why? Because they took me forever, and you could be right, but didn't know the system wanted you to round on a specific question, or wanted you or didn't want you to round on a specific question, and the answer could be like 0.0643, and you put in 0.064, and it would tell you you were wrong. Bruh, I would blow the freak up, because ain't no way you just said I was wrong. I did all that right. I did all of that right. And missed one number, and you gave me that wrong. And it would happen on so many that by the time you finished, you would have a 30% on that homework. But the good thing is about them, you got multiple tries, at least 3. So you would do it again and again. And now that you had the familiarity with the question in the previous attempt, the next time or the next go round on the question, you would get it right, you know? But then you go to the next question, and this one doesn't have the round. And then you like ready to slap the computer down and slap your teacher next for assigning you this crap. And you really want to slap them because they don't give partial points at all. I mean, so by your third try, you finally get at least a 90, and that sound, and you like, I bet, I think I'll take that. But when you look at it, you took all this time, and yes, it took forever. So you just kind of mad and you just want to quit. But when you take your test, you find out you Gucci because you had some practice, and you had a lot of practice. You had so much the familiar sense of getting it wrong, that ta-da, you learned something. That's the same in life. Look for the familiar. Does this look the same? And if it does, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to do the same thing over and over, or are you going to change your answer? Are you going to change your approach? Will you quit and not practice and just sit here until the teacher tells you, time's up, and they slap a 0 and a big old F on your dashboard, and you can't register for your next class until you pass the same class with a C average or better? I mean, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, Cletus? Look for the familiar and stop getting so frustrated in the cycle, and just take notes, because God is trying to teach you something. He's saying, not that way. Try another way. All right, you got that step. You got that problem right. Now try this one. Nope, you ain't got that part yet. But hold on, let's try again. So by the time you get to the next try, you get it. You start getting it. You start getting it. You start getting it right. And when it's time for him to hand you the blessing, the true blessing, you're going to handle that thing with a swiftness and with a knowledge and with the understanding that is so fluent that others are going to begin to come to you for your knowledge. Can you tutor me? Look for the familiar. Okay, so number 3 is separate yourself. Separate yourself. Focus on you and your test. I remember so vividly the times I was taking a test and people began getting up, finished, while I was still stuck on like question number 4. And all these negative thoughts began creeping in my head like, Lord, everybody gonna think I'm dumb because I'm still sitting here with 15 more questions. I know I'm failing. This is embarrassing. I'm finna miss my next class sitting here. Then the final thought of, yo, F this, I don't know. And I would just start bubbling in B and C. Y'all know that I don't know where we get that from, that hack or whatever that they used to say that B and C are always the default answers when you don't know. I would do that. And then I would get the test back and we would review. And I'm like, ain't no way you did that. You knew this. And it was all because I started letting my mind get to me about what was going on around me. I started comparing my progress to other people. I started allowing their timeline to affect how I finished. But yo, majority of them people that got up first scores were barely C's. And the ones that did pass that class, good for them because I didn't know the back end of their process and that wasn't for me to know. Only what I was supposed to know was in the test, in my seat, by myself, in my lane. Comparison is the killer of joy. And as long as the enemy can get you to do it, he has you right where he wants you. And when it's time for you to get up from the table and move, you'll be prepared for it. If you would only stop comparing. Stop allowing other people's timeline and how fast you think they've finished and gotten to the next step to influence how you prepare and how well you test. Separate yourself, go to another table, and stop looking around. Stay in your lane. Number 4 is pray. Yep, another one. Another one that you feel like, dang, this is cliche as a mug. Listen, this is self explanatory. Prayer is an art form. I don't care what nobody say. Why? Because there are so many different ones. And everybody prays different. You don't have to have this big strategical prayer. It's a conversation. It's a warfare. Yo, I pray with my eyes open. I pray with my eyes closed. I sing my prayers. I really do. I say them in my head. I lay down and go to sleep saying them. And sometimes I don't have anything to say at all, but Lord, that's a prayer to me. Please. And guess what? It's all interpreted by God exactly how you need it to be interpreted. He knows everything. Give it to him. When you get weary, give it to him. When you're full of joy, give it to him. When you feel like you about to burst from anxiety, give it to him. When you feel like you're depressed beyond despair, close your eyes and call him. That's giving it to him. I've been there and I've done that. And he can hear what's not even said. Pray. Number 5. What they tell us? What they tell us in school? Rest before the test. Get your sleep. Rest. Adequate. Baby, rest before the test. And what I mean by this is after you done all you can, you just stand. No. After you done all you can, the rest is in God's hands. Rest in what you've studied, rest in what you know, rest in what you read, rest in what you experienced. And when God is about to give you that blessing, baby, rest in it. And them answers gonna flow out of you like water because you've been prepared. And number 6, I love it. Number 6 is eat that good meal. Because this is when he's giving it to you. God is not slack on his word or promises, and he has not left the miracle working business. The more I get closer to God, I realize the more the devil fights me. The more he fights me with feeling unmotivated. The closer I get to God, the closer you get to God and what God has for you, the more the devil fights you with feelings of self-doubt and comparison. The closer you get to God, he just don't want you there. The enemy don't want you there. Because the closer you get to God is the closer to you knowing, the closer you're getting to knowing who you truly are. So he wants you to feel depressed and rejected and motivated. But God is letting us know, if you would only push, if you would only study, if you would only pray, if you would only rest, you're gonna eat. You're not failing. You are learning. I know it seems hard right now. I know it seems unbearable. I know the struggle is real right now. I know that it hurts right now. I know that you may feel alone right now. I know you may not even feel like this is worth it anymore. I know you may feel like I don't even have it to give right now. You may feel like God ain't calling me because I'm me. But baby, let me tell you, you are you. You are you. And that's why he's calling you. So no, you are not failing. You are learning. And you are learning because God has called you. Fools despise discipline, but we glory in it because God corrects who he loves. Tribulation produces perseverance. Perseverance produces character, and character, hope. Y'all, the enemy wants nothing more than to distract you enough so that you don't take your rightful place. And it don't always have to be some big grandstand of a gesture or calamity for the enemy to take you out of the race and to take you out of alignment and out of your position. All it takes is for him to occupy your mind a little bit, make you believe lies, and have you out here not grasping the depth of who you really are. We are God's children, and that's on period, no comma, baby. That's it. We are here to fulfill purposes, to experience God's love and God's favor, and to exemplify that. We are here to lead others to Christ. And no, it always ain't glimmer, glam, Gucci, and gold. But when you got God, you got some uncommon favor, uncommon testimonies, unmatched love, discipline, and a whole lot of grace. Things that you won't even be able to understand or fathom. Peace that this world can't give. And a whole lot more that this podcast just ain't got the hours for. But catch my drift. God did not make failures. God don't fail. Everything that God made was good and is good, and good you are. Okay? Heal from the thought of insecurity and feeling like you are a failure. You are bright, you are learning, and you will succeed. Until next time, y'all.